Hey residents of Meepletown, if you know me, you know that I really enjoy Imperial Settlers. I enjoy the 51st State game and Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North. All of them are games that I absolutely love to play. And so when the expansion Rise of the Empire came out for Imperial Settlers, I was hyped to find out more about it, this campaign game. And so that's what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be going through this campaign. We're going to be building up our empire, not just over the course of one game, but over the course of many games. We're going to be building up our empire and trying to make it through the end of the game being the best empire in the game. So let's get to the table and check out Imperial Settlers Rise of the Empire. Okay, so as opposed to having everything set up in the game, I wanted to just focus on the elements that that are from this expansion, and I'm going to explain these. So I'm going into this assuming that you have some sort of knowledge of Imperial Settlers, and if not, I definitely recommend that you check it out. We've done a video for Empires of the North, but not any of the gameplay for Imperial Settlers, but it's really similar. So some of the differences that you're going to have. One, I mentioned this already, but you're going to be playing through a campaign. And so you start off in the Antique Age, and then you're going to be working your way through into the Middle Ages, and then you will be going into the Industrial Age. And the object of the game is you want to get move up these tracks. And when you get to the end, you're then on any of those tracks, you're going to move up to Middle Ages. And then once you move to the Industrial Age, if you're the first player to do that, you're going to be the winner of the game. Now, there's lots of different things that go along with this campaign besides that, and I'll talk about that, how you're going to be moving up the tracks. So one of the things that happens in the game is you're going to have these quest cards. Now, there's three different stacks of quest cards that correspond to the different tracks on the board. So when you complete the quest that's available for that game, and you'll have one card for each of those stacks out during a game, except the solo play, that plays out a little bit different, where you'll have 4 cards. But with a 2 to 4 player game, you will have one of each of these cards, and whenever you complete one of those quests, then you'll be able to move up on the track. When I say move up, I mean you're going to be taking a pen and marking the amount of spaces that you're going to move up on a track. Now, there's two different types of quest cards. There are the stature cards, and then there are the status cards. The stature cards are ones that you're going to be keeping up with on the bottom of your player sheet. So for example, I'll take this one. This is a stature card. This one is the domineering like Nut the Great. I don't know if I said that right. Nut? I'm not familiar with this person. Anyway, so this quest says raise 3 enemy buildings, and the first to achieve this is going to draw 3 common cards and raise one for free and discard the others. Now, what's going to happen is it's a bit of a race to get these quests done, because that happens when you immediately complete that. But also, you'll get to move up 3 spaces on that track. So that top track, you'll be able to move up 3 spaces, and that will, again, you want to get to the end faster, but also it's going to be unlocking these different abilities that you have throughout the game. So some will be in-game scoring opportunities or things that will trigger at the end game. Some will be these tokens that you're going to get that will go on your board to enhance your actions, enhance your production, and things like that. But also, they will do different things throughout the game that would help you out. So you want to unlock ones that are going to help you with the strategy that you're taking throughout the game. So this one, I would move up 3 on that top track. And then what's going to happen is this card's not going to go away. It's going to flip over, and it is a lesser ability on there. So this says when you complete this quest, you're going to raise 3 enemy... to complete this quest, not this is what you're going to gain. To complete this quest, you need to raise 3 enemy buildings. And when you do that, all that's going to happen is you're going to move up 1 on that top track. So it's a lesser ability. Now, those are the stature ones, so you're going to be keeping up with those. Every time I raise an enemy, I'll move up on the track, and then once I have done that 3 times, then I will get to complete that quest. You also have the status ones where you're not going to be keeping up with them on the the tracker here, but this says have at least 5 wood in your supply. So this is Cyrus the Great, the compassion like Cyrus the Great. So if you have 5 wood in your supply at any time on your turn, you'll be able to complete that. And then what's going to happen is if you're the first to complete it, you're going to gain a gold, and then you'll move up 3 on this track. And then this last one is this bottom track, and it plays out the same way. You need to have 8 red or orange buildings in your empire in any combination. So as long as they're red or orange, you have to have 8 total of those, and you'll be able to complete that quest, gain the ability on there, which is to draw 3 faction cards, keep 1, and then reshuffle the other ones. And then you move up 3 on the bottom track. So that's a big way that you're going to be moving up on this track, is to complete those quests throughout the game. Now, those are going to happen, again, like I said, throughout the game that you're playing. Now, once the game ends, you're going to have an opportunity to buy these invention cards. And you're also going to be taking province cards. And I'll explain how those work. But essentially, know that you're going to play out the whole game. Your first game that you play in this is really going to be unaffected by any of these except the quest cards that help you move up on the track. Now, once you finish a game, if you have the most points, and first you're going to have to subtract points from the province cards, and I'll explain that in a second. If you have the most points, you're going to move up 1 on any of these tracks that you want to move up on. And then you're going to have to buy an invention card based on how many knowledge points you have. Now, knowledge points are going to be your points at the end of a game. So if I finish the game with 45 points, I'll have 45 knowledge points to spend. And then if I don't spend all of those, then the leftover ones I get to keep. I don't lose those, which is helpful because you're going to need those as you continue to buy inventions. So in the antique age, let's say I want to buy this one. This is the military tactics. This is going to cost 80 knowledge points, and these are the more expensive ones. The bottom ones are, I think 30 knowledge points are the lowest ones. I think I put these back in order. 30 knowledge points on those. So this, if I want military tactics, this is a feature. Each time you raise a red, brown, or black building or a card, you're going to gain a victory point. So those are going to give you different bonuses throughout the game that are really helpful. Now, here's the thing. If you are unable to buy an invention during your turn, your empire is going to crumble, and you will essentially lose the game. Now, you can go back and you can start over from scratch, but if you have somebody that's already in the industrial age, good luck coming back from that. So it's not an option to buy one of these invention cards. It is a necessity in order to win the game. You also can only have 1 of each of the colors, and so if I want to buy this one was a pink card. If I wanted to buy another one like this, I could, but I would then have to discard this one that I have. So you can only have 1 of each color in your deck, and those are going to go out immediately at the very beginning of the game. You don't have to buy those again during game to put them in. They go out at the setup. Also, after you've done that, you're going to everyone's going to draw randomly 1 of these province cards, and these again will be going into your empire at setup. This one is going to, this is the Busted Battlegrounds, Rusted, a little difficult to see that. Rusted Battlegrounds. So as an action, I can spend 1 of my raise tokens to gain 2 coins. Now I'll have that, but which is helpful. That's always good. So 2 things about that. One is as soon as you take that, you're going to have to cross off 1 of these spots on your province area at the top of the board. And that means during your next game, you're going to have to pay for the province cards that you have. So let's say I crossed off the 2 wood. I'll have to pay 2 wood in my next game, in every game that I have this province card, and I'll have to pay those 2 woods. And if I don't, if any of my regions are left unpaid, any of the provinces, then I will actually get 0 points for that round, making it very difficult to buy an invention, for one. But also, if your points are less than the game before that for 3 games in a row. I think I said that right. So 3 games in a row, if your score declines, then your empire is going to crumble that way as well. So you really want to make sure that you can pay this so that, one, you can buy the invention cards, but also so that you're not just getting negative points. You need to be increasing your points from game to game. Otherwise, your empire can crumble. And again, you have to pay that. Now, once I get to the end of the track, and I mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. At the end of the game, you are going to lose 5 points. That's the same for all of these different province cards that you have. You're going to lose 5 points So you have to consider that also. They're a big boost, but you need to make sure that you're gaining the points back from those boosts that you get from the card. Now again, once I get to the end of the track, I will go on to the Middle Ages, and then I will lose the province cards that I have. They'll just go away, and I'll be gaining new province cards from this stack. Now, each of the invention stacks matches with the era that you're in, but the province cards are going to be just randomly drawn from this big stack. And like I said, you're going to be gaining bonuses along the way, and whoever is the first one to the end of the Industrial Age is going to be crowned the winner. And I there's some other rules with this. What do these different tokens do and things like that, or what do these different abilities do? I'll let you discover that on your own as you play, but this gives you a general overview of how the game plays out. So let's talk about the art and components. This is cards and sheets. You've got actually a big stack of these sheets. Some of these are torn out for games that I've played. You've got these tokens that are just little cardboard tokens, and then the cards with the same art that you're used to in the game. So that's basically it in the box. But I think, I really like the art style, so I like that. That's it. But I don't need more, right? I don't need more tokens or cards or anything like that. There's lots of options for these quests. There's pretty large stacks of these cards. For each of these, there's a lot of different provinces that you're not going to get through all in a game, in a campaign. So I really like that. I think that the amount of stuff that you get in the box, the amount of variety with the different cards, I think is pretty high. Now the gameplay. Does the gameplay well? Well, again, that I really love this game quite a bit. I have in my top 10, I have Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North, Imperial Settlers, and 51st State Master Set kind of all grouped together as a game in my top 10. I think that Empires of the North is my favorite of those, but Imperial Settlers is one that I absolutely love, and so I still keep it in that realm. But what this game does is it takes that core mechanism that you have in Imperial Settler. You're still playing that game over and over again, but it gives you different things to play for, right? It gives you these quests to complete that will help you move up on the track, and it's almost like adding this extra game. It's like you're a game inside of a game. You have this game that goes along, the campaign game that goes along with the individual games that you're playing, and then having your inventions match up really well with your provinces, all of that. I just think it meshes really well together. This takes an Imperial Settlers game that I've played a lot, and with any game, if you played a lot, it can kind of lose some of its luster as you go on. What this does is it gives this game such a boost. Right? It gives this game so much more replayability, and it makes me want to get it back to the table to play through the campaign, and I have done that. I enjoy this campaign a lot, quite a bit. Now, another thing is, I don't play a lot of solo games in general, but this takes the solo game of Imperial Settlers, which Imperial Settlers solo is already good anyway, but playing along with this campaign, I think, has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed doing that. I've really enjoyed kind of playing through and exploring this solo along with multiplayer. I prefer multiplayer, but I still enjoy the solo play quite a bit. So again, what this game does for me is that it takes a game that I already love quite a bit and it boosts it that much more. So if I were to give this a score, it would probably be somewhere in that 9.5 range. Which I would have Imperial Settlers, the game itself, as a 9, and then the expansion boosting it up to a 9.5. I really, really enjoy this one. I would say if you have Imperial Settlers, maybe haven't played in a while, I would really recommend getting this. Or if you have, if you really love Imperial Settlers, this game boosts it up so much for me. I love it. I love how this campaign plays out. So I highly recommend this one. That is Imperial Settlers Rise of the Empire expansions, the campaign expansion. So check it out. If you want to get in touch with us, if you want to check out more of our content, you go to MeepletownGames.com. You can also reach us through different social media outlets at Meepletown Games. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also reach out to us through our Board Game Geek Guild. That's guild number 3407. Until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Meepletown Games.
and connect with us on the Meepletown Guild, Guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.